What's up, guys? This is Trenton here with the Rebirthed, Unplugged podcast. So today, and probably weekly, I think it looks like we're joined with Daniel. Daniel is the worship pastor on staff where Rebirth is stationed out of at CFTN Tucson. So I'll let him intro himself and kind of talk about who he is and where he's from, those deals.
What up, people? No, my name is Daniel, so this is pretty rad. How about that fat beat that was going on? Just playing. Anyway, yeah, so my name is Daniel. I'm here. I'm the worship pastor, creative arts pastor here at CFTN. And so my background back in the day when I was just a young tyke, at the young age of like 7 or 8, I was playing like on this little piece of cardboard thing when I was a little kid. You know, I came up in the hood back in LA. You know, we didn't have much to talk about, you know, back in the day, but we had a lot to do. We had to come up with things to do. So what I'd like now, but anyway, so my whole creative background, music background started when I was about 8 years old. And like I said, growing up, we didn't have a whole lot to speak of and so forth. So I just really felt back in that time, didn't understand what it meant. But, you know, I'd started out my music career, if you will, playing on cardboard boxes and things like that, and just spending hours in the corner just talking and to myself practically and playing to myself and playing nursery rhymes and things of that sort. But yeah, and as I grew older and I kind of got an ear for music and kind of developed a passion, or God developed a passion for music, you know, in me back, you know, about 8 years old and moving through all that. And then probably when I was about nine years old, my grandparents bought me my first cheesy Casio keyboard with all those cheesy beats, the cheesy sounds.
I still play on one of those.
Trent still has one of those. I probably still have mine somewhere. But anyway, I've moved beyond that. But so I started with that, and then just over the years, God really developed my ear for me to, you know, I'd just be sitting there and just kind of hear something off the TV, and I'd go play it, you know, go drop it on the Casio, you know.
Drop it on the
Casio. And just over the years, just developed a heart for it as I grew up in church. Not really grow up in church, but my family's originally Catholic, so Catholic church, not a lot of music happening there. But as I grew up and as I went to church with my grandparents and stuff, just developed a passion for worship and for music. And as it went on, I went through college and started taking lessons, but for a lot of time just played by ear for a lot of years until I went to college, or high school and college rather. Started singing in choir in high school, and then went to college and started singing and playing, and got my formal music education at that point in time. And then in college got exposed to some really cool things, you know, with recording. Recorded some CDs at the college I attended. Also was a part of a group that traveled on the weekends outside of class. Thank God for traveling things and things to do outside of class. I'm not encouraging you to skip class here, but you know what I'm saying. So got to do that kind of cool stuff. Went all around Texas. Our group actually went out to Ireland and Scotland and London and got to perform a lot of churches and things there. And I played with a lot of cool people through the years. God really exposed me to a lot of different backgrounds. Played in a lot of different black churches. Got exposure there. That was pretty crazy. So pretty cool though. Totally different gig, but it was awesome. Did that and just got a lot of exposure to different places. And then through college and stuff, God really began to define my role and what that would look like, or through rather high school and college, God just really began to speak to me about what I would be, who I would be, and what He's gifted me to do, and that kind of thing. And so I kind of began to develop continued to develop my gift and develop my craft and so forth. And over the years just was, you know, just built upon that. And as God continued to pour into me, and as I surrounded myself with other people that were, really instrumental in my growth and development as a musician and that kind of thing, it was really cool to see those people that God surrounded me with, again, of all different kinds of flavors, all different kinds of genres. It's a fancy word, I know, but genres, GENRES or something like that. Genres. So just got exposure to that, and then as God just continued to work in me and through me, just developed a passion for worship music and stuff like that, and just began to write, learned what it was to write, and God started just give me just different seasons in my life, just gave me different songs in the seasons that I was in and so forth, and I went from really being kind of your typical musician kind of thing, just tinkering and playing and that kind of thing, to developing the heart of a worshiper and understanding what a heart of a worshiper was, and God just began to address issues and deals in my life that would really challenge me, and develop disciplines, just sitting there, not just really sitting there with the skills, just sitting there playing on the piano and that kind of thing, but just disciplines in my own individual spiritual life and spiritual walk, devotions, reading the word, praying, going to church, being involved in youth group, being involved in college group, doing those kinds of things, and really changed my mindset from looking for really a platform to highlight, the thing that God had given me, to really a lifestyle change, kind of a new lifestyle change and transition. So it was really cool. And, I think that at that point in time, it went from God really showed me what it was like to the aspect from being really a musician to what worship really was. And I think the difference between that is who your audience is. When you're a musician, you're in a different setting, a different group of people, where people are really looking at your craft, looking at what you have to offer as a musician. Whereas when you're a worshiper and you're a worship leader, worship pastor, and those kinds of things, really God starts to look at your heart, and as He begins to develop your heart and begins to develop character and integrity and all those things in us, we should move from that musician's mentality to that worship leader, to that worshiper's mentality. And I think that oftentimes where most musicians and things like that fail, truth be told, a lot of musicians start out on the other side of things. They start out in church and doing everything the right deal, and then they wind up, partying and getting involved with the wrong crews and that kind of thing, and
rock star.
And then just it blows up and turns into to them. And through my life, I've seen a lot of different people, names I could throw out here that people I've done life with that I look at that are in the industry right now, where I just see that, when they got the right footing and started down the right road, it was all just a matter of just the wrong time, the wrong place, and it was just a matter of boom, they found themselves spiraling down into the great unknown, if you will, and just wound up involved in just all kinds of different things, drugs and money, and just forgot their roots. But I think the key there is really disciplines, and just really positioning yourself before God, keeping your heart before God, keeping being honest, open, vulnerable before God, and really giving your craft to Him. The truth is, guys, is that God really He's gifted you, whether you see that now or not, but He's gifted you, and He's placed things inside of you, and it's really not for your benefit, but it's really for His benefit, and it's for Him to to show Himself and show Himself strong in not only your life, but in the lives of those that He puts around you. So bottom line is, you focus and you study on your disciplines, you really practice your craft, you do all of those kinds of things, and those things are necessary to build upon excellence and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, God's looking at your heart, and worship and music is all about God, and it's all about who He is. And it's really cool because you can if you're out there in Cali listening to this, you can go down to the ocean and listen to the oceans, and that's music. You can walk, if you're in, in the trees in the Carolinas somewhere.
You're hanging out in the trees.
You're hanging out in the trees, and
swinging from a branch.
Yeah,
He got the
Tarzan action, and here he comes. Yeah, where's Jane when you need her? No, I'm just playing. You don't need Jane. Anyhow, no, but as you go through that whole thing, and you just listen, you listen to trees and you listen to birds. There's everything around us has a song. Even rocks have sounds, and even tree trunks have sounds. It's really cool because the word says that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and it's really cool because in Genesis it talks about that God spoken into being, and that was even sound. And so it's really cool that everything that surrounds us really has a sound. And the really cool thing is that each one of you may not know yet, but you may be trying to discover these things, but there's a sound that God wants to produce with you. That sound may be music, that sound may be painting, that sound may be some other sort of arts and that kind of thing. Those are all sounds, those are all songs.
Right.
And God gets the glory in all those things. So it's just really key to set your sights and set your disciplines and set your focus on the things that matter, and are you interested in a platform of many thousands? Are you interested in really pleasing really the a master of one, or God himself? And so that's kind of my background, and it's been kind of cool to see how it's all gone down.